Welcome back to another database class. Today we are going to do an installation of Oracle because we have to study the practicals. We need an Oracle to be running on our machine so that we can practice some of the queries on our own. In order to do that thing, you have to first download and install Oracle on your machine. To do so, we are going to go and we are going to search for one of the older version of Oracle, and that is Oracle 11G. So what I have typed here on the Google search bar, you can just type Oracle 11G Express Edition free download. So you can just type that thing, and then you can press enter for the Google to show the result. Now, once you get the result, I'm going to go to the website that I know very well is used by the company Oracle, that is oracle.com. There may be other sites which are available, but I will go to the preferred site, that is the oracle.com. And I'm going to open the site in the new tab over here so that we can see what's going on. So here you will notice that Oracle is giving you a free database for everyone. Okay, this is called as XE because the short form for this is Express Edition. That is the why they call it as Express Edition, and it's absolutely free without uh, any licensing. So you can go here. And one thing you must notice is that I am there in the Oracle website. Okay, so I'm there at oracle.com, which is definitely the company website. And before you do that, if you have the data pack, you can watch what is this Oracle XE and how to install it on Windows. They have also given you the video. Apart from that, what are included within this is also specified there. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on this part which says download Oracle database XE. I'm going to click on that. When I click on that, it will take me to a site that shows me the latest edition. This is one but the latest edition, and that is the Oracle Express Edition 18.4. Okay, this is the one that is there, or 18C is the one that you can think of downloading. However, the size of it is roughly 2 GB. So because it is 2 GB, because it is 2 GB, some of you may exhaust all your data pack. So I'm not preferring to use this one. You can use it. Also, there is a slight change in the architecture that they are using with the 18 version, which is a bit complicated as far as the beginner is concerned. So let's not venture into that. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go to the one other option over here, and that says prior release archives. So I'm going to click on that. When I click on that, the only one option that it is trying to show me is the Oracle edition 11.2, that is Oracle 11G R2 edition is being shown to me, and I am going to download this one and I'm going to install it. Okay, now before you download it, if you are using the Windows version, then you must know whether your system is 64 bit or whether it is 32 bit. You must have the knowledge of that. If you are installing it on a Linux machine, then it is only 64 bit is available to you. Now let's go and uh, try to install it. Now again, some of you who are not very familiar whether you are using Windows 64 bit or 32 bit, what you can do here is you can go to my computer, that is my PC over here, right click on this my PC, and then go to the properties. So when you right click and go to the properties, you are going to see this kind of window there. In this window, you are going to see the operating system that you are using, and you will notice in my case I am using a 64-bit operating system, x64-bit based processor. So I know that my machine is a 64-bit machine, so I am going to download the 64-bit version. If you are using the 32-bit version, download the 32-bit version. So once you know which version you are using, click on this link here, and it's going to say that you must accept the Oracle license of agreement. At leisure you can read this one. I'm going to say that I have reviewed and accepted the license of agreement, and I'm going to click on it, and you will notice that this is a zipped file, that is the compressed file that you are going to download it. You need to unzip it. So let me click on it. The minute I click on it, it will ask me for logging in to Oracle. Now I have already created an account in Oracle because I have downloaded the Java. So I already have a account with the Oracle. If you don't have the account with the Oracle, just go here and then say I want to create a new account. Creating account is very simple. You need to provide your email ID and password. It is same as creating an account in Google or Facebook or any other site for that matter. You don't need to pay anything. It is absolutely free. So I assume that you can try this on your own because I already have an account. I'm going to just sign in into this account. Minute I sign in, automatically the download will begin. So it is going to sign in, and you will notice here that it is going to download that. I'm going to just pause this one because I don't want it to download. I've already downloaded it. So I'm going to show you one thing that it may be of concern to you, and that is the size of it. The size of this particular database that you are going to download is 317 MB, roughly 320 MB. Compare that 320 with 2000, nearly 240, 240 MB. So you know how much you are going to save if you are not downloading the 18C version. Okay, I'm not again discouraging you from using 18C, but that is not required as far as my knowledge. That is not required for you in this particular course. So let's stick on that. Stick on to this one. Now what I have done is I have already downloaded it, and I have placed that in a separate folder in D drive, and I have downloaded it. You notice that the file name that is being downloaded, that was getting downloaded, was Oracle XE112 64-bit, and I have already done that thing. I already have it here getting downloaded. You will notice that it's a zip file, and some of you may not see this zip or exe or other zip and other kind of thing. That is because I have enabled the, in Windows there is an option to enable the extension. So if you want to enable it, you can enable it. I prefer to see that extension because I download many things and I want to know whether it is exe or other thing. So if you don't want to see that thing, you can just go to the view, and in your folder you can go to the view and then disable this file name extension. If you remove it, the file name extension will not be shown. You will just see Oracle 64 and so on. but I prefer to see the file name extension. That's why I'm using it. So that's my preference. It has nothing to do with the Oracle or Windows. So I have this Oracle XC112 64-bit with me. What you need to do is right click on this file, and you are going to see an option in your Windows. You are going to see if an option called as extract here. I can't see this because I have installed the WinRAR on my system. WinRAR is a third-party tool that will unzip the files. The particular all these files are zipped together. They are compressed. I need to uncompress them back. So I have the WinRAR with me. I'm going to go and say extract here. If you don't see this option in your machine, I'm very sure if you have not installed WinRAR, if this software is not installed, you won't see this option. Again, I have the you hope you can see this because I have the antivirus on my system. So somewhere you will notice here extract. That word will be there. Extract word will be there. Just click on it and it's going to extract it. I will not try that thing because I have already extracted it. Once you extract this file, right click and extract this file. Again, this utility is not required. You can Windows itself comes with the unzip or extractor, which will be available somewhere in the menu over here, which you can use it. Now let me continue. So once you extract the files, you are going to see a folder called as disk1. You're going to get this folder disk1. This is 317 MB. If you double click on this one, you will notice two folder and setup.exe. Now if you just keep the mouse pointer on it, it is going to say the company that from which this is created is Oracle Corporation. Now, suppose if your friend has given you this particular folder, he or she has downloaded it from some crazy site. Not you have not done it. They have downloaded it, and they may say that it is already patched and so on and so forth, cracked and so on and so forth. And if they have given it to you, just look at this exe file. Right click on that exe file, and then go to the properties. Just go to the properties. At the bottom you'll see that properties. Just click on this property. Once you click on this property, so what I've done was I right clicked on it. This you do it if you have not downloaded it on your own. Somebody else has done that thing and has given it to you. Go to properties, and then you have an option here called as details. Click on details. It's going to tell you that this is created by the Oracle. So this is very important because this is digitally signed by the Oracle Corporation, and you have to trust that thing. That is required because if you are downloading it from other site, they may add something extra apart from the Oracle original setup. And because Oracle is running as a service, that thing that they have added, the hacker or somebody else has added, may run as a service also. Then it may create a problem to you. So ensure that you are getting it from the Oracle, and then you are installing it on your machine. So let me double click on it. When you double click on it, I think double click didn't work. Okay, when you double click on it, the installation will begin, and the installation, my machine is doing some other thing in the background. That is why installation is a bit slow. uh, it will ask you for an elevation. So your original login may not work here. It has to be elevated to a administrator access. So it's going to say that, do you really want to run this one? I want to say yes, because I know that it is created by the Oracle Corporation, and I have downloaded it from their own site. Let me click yes to continue with my installation. Then the installation will begin. Initially, it will take some time for it to prepare the setup. After that, everything will begin. So with the small pause, you are going to see this particular option. It will take some time for it to come to this particular point. I have cut the videos in order to reduce the uh, time. So you get the Oracle. Welcome to the Oracle installation. I'm going to click on the next here to go to the next option, and in the next option it is going to ask you to accept the license of agreement. You can go through the license of agreement at leisure to read what the license of agreement says, and if you really want you can take even the printout of that. Let's go to the next part. And when you go to the next part, it's going to say that I will install the Oracle in a particular folder. And in particular, it's going to install it C colon Oracle exe. It's going to install it here. And if you notice, in my case, it's going to take some 63 MB. I think it's going to take 630. I think it's going to take quite a large amount of disk space. But if you compare it with the available disk space, in my case, I have plenty of disk space on C drive, so that may not be of concern to me. However, for some, this may be concern because you may not have enough space on your C drive. In that case, click on Browse and then select the appropriate place. If you have C drive, E drive, or any other drive, not the USB drive. Not do not try to install it on a removable disk. But if you have other drives which have the space, you can select those drives or the other folders and then install it. I'm not going to do it. I'm pressing the cancel, but you select if at all you want, you select it. Then click OK. But I'm not going to do it because I'm happy with this location. Let me click this next button to go to the next one. So when I click on next one, you won't get this option because I had already installed the Oracle in my machine. It was there already, and I uninstalled and I'm reinstalling it. So what happened is that folder C drive. Let me show you if at all you really want to know. If you go to this C drive, it already has this Oracle exe, and that is what it is trying to complain and say that folder already exists. Now, if you may have some database inside that, and by the way, you know what is a database? It's a collection of related data. So it is just warning me, and it is saying me that you better give a empty folder because I may delete some of the files which are there, and if I delete your database, which is a collection of related data, you will lose the data altogether. So it is just telling me that, do you really want to go ahead with it? Now I don't have any data that is so critical to me in terms of a database. So I say okay, you won't see this option. Sorry about that. This option you won't get it because you have already installed it. Suppose you are like me who has installed and uninstalled, you're going to see this particular option. So this option you won't get it. It is there because I have already installed the Oracle. Let me go ahead with the yes because I want to the Oracle to be installed on the same directory. Let me click yes, and this is what you see. If at all you are installing it for the first time, if this you are doing it for the first time, it will simply come to this particular option. Here it is going to ask you for two things. Let's look at what it is trying to ask. Is it is asking you for a password for two accounts. One account is called as sys, sys. The other account is called as system. So these are two built-in accounts that comes with the Oracle. Okay, so if you are not getting it, you are logging into Gmail, and when you log into Gmail, you have something like name at gmail.com. Something is there. Similarly, there are two accounts are there, not Gmail, but there are two accounts are there. One is system, one is sys, and other one is system. They comes by default, whether you like it or not, they are there. It's okay, you have to bear with them. However, the password for them is not provided. So it is asking me Give me a password. I'm going to type the password. Remember the password. That's very, very important. Remember the password, because if you forget the password, then onwards you will not be able to log into the Oracle. That's the last part, that you will never do it. Suppose if you forget again, what you are going to do it? You have to uninstall it and reinstall it. That's the only option that you have, and all the things that you have done is all gone. So remember this password, write down, or somewhere remember this password. This password need not be a complicated password that you are typing for your email accounts. I'm going to type a password with 4 letters and one more with the 4 letters. Okay, that's all. So this is what I've done. Let me try this one again. Okay, you try any password. Don't type very lengthy password, because you will have to type it again and again. For this purpose only, for we in real life type a some secured password. Let's go ahead and let's click next. And this is what it's going to tell you, that I'm going to install all these things. Well and good, if you are installing it, these things are good. However, one thing you must notice here is that it is going to say that Oracle is listening at port number 8080. I'm going to show this particular thing, 8080. Next one, it is saying that Oracle for Microsoft Transaction Server is 2030. We don't have MTS installed on our system, so don't worry about it. But this will create a problem. Okay, 8080 will create a problem. I'll get back to that 8080. Remember that the port that it is trying to say is 8080. Okay, in your case also same thing is going to happen. Let me click install, and then you can take a cup of coffee or tea, or you can see the status of your friends, and we will come back once this installation completes. It's going to take a slightly longer time for it to install. Finally, we are there at the last step, and that is the installation wizard says it has finished installing the Oracle. So let me click on finish. That will be the end of the installation. So what happens is Oracle has started, Oracle has installed on your system. Let's go and let's look at our desktop. On your desktop, you are going to see a shortcut here that says get started with the Oracle 19G Express Edition. So if you double click on this one, Oracle must start, Oracle, you must be able to interact with the Oracle. So I'm going to double click on it. So when you double click on it, if everything is proper, it's going to start the browser, and it's going to show you the Oracle running. Okay, some of you may have trouble. Okay, in my case, I'm lucky enough to not to have any trouble. Some of you, when you try to do that, you may get a error saying that the link does not the link that it is trying to show is not working. So the shortcut is not proper. For them, what you're supposed to do, right click on it. This is only if you get a problem. If you don't get a problem, you are luckiest one. Otherwise, most of the time you are not lucky. For in that case, what you're supposed to do, right click and just go to the properties of this particular shortcut here. Go to the properties of this shortcut, and it's going to show you this one. If you notice here, it's going to actually, it's a shortcut somewhere else. Okay, go here. What did I do? I right clicked on it and went to the properties, and this is what you see. And then go here and then say open the location. If you do this only if you are in trouble. If you are not in trouble, good. If you are in trouble, then do it. Click on this open location. It will take you to the location where it is trying to point. And where is this location? If you watch this one, it is said this is the location. I will just zoom it out. get started.url. That's what it is trying to show. And if you notice here, what did I do after that? I went here and then clicked on open file location. This is what I did, and you are going to come to this particular location. That's the server, and you can see there you are there. Okay, now here you go to this location. If at all you have a problem, get started. That is what it is trying to point. Right click on it and go to its properties. So again you have to go to its property. What did you do? First of all, what did you do? You right clicked on it and went to its property. You came here and you said go to the open file location, and what is this one? Get started. You can notice here get started. That file that you have here, that this is actually a shortcut. Right click on it and properties. Here you will notice a strange thing. In your case, if at all you are ending up in trouble at this particular location, you won't find you notice that 127.0.0.1 colon 8080 is there. You can see that 8080 is there. Okay, in your case, instead of this 8080, you may find if at all you are not so lucky, percentage http port, something like this. I don't remember, http underscore or http port, and something like this. Instead of 8080, you will see that thing there. Okay, just delete that thing, 80 http at port something which is there. Just delete that thing. Instead of that, just type 8080. So this is how it is written here. Can you see that? So instead of that http, remember, don't delete this apex and all those things. Don't delete that one. Just delete that http and percentage http port something will be there. Just delete that and then type this 8080. That's all. Save this one, and that's the end of it. Okay, click OK, and that's the end of it. I will not do anything, because in my case I'm lucky enough to be it working. So I'm there at this particular location. If everything is proper, we are going to get it. Okay, so that's simple as that. Once you have installed the Oracle 11g, you are going to come to this particular location. So here you will notice that I'm there at 127.0.0.1. Now those who have studied the TCP/IP, this is the local host. That's a local host that you can see there. It's a local host, and followed by a colon, you notice here, and the port number. This is the port number. This is the TCP/IP way of doing it. If you study TCP/IP, that's it. And this is the URL, apex, and so on and so forth. Don't worry about that. You are here. You can see the storage. You can see the session. You can see the parameter. I want to use the Oracle Application Express, and it's going to say get started with the Oracle Application Express, and that's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click on this particular thing, and that is Application Express. That's it. I'm going to click on it. It will ask me to log in, and you know very well you have given a password. That's what I told you. You must remember that password. So I am going to type the username. You can write to syst, or I'm going to go with the system. I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to say system, and it's just moving. I'm not doing anything. And my password. Okay, I've typed system and password. That's it. Login. You are there at this particular place. Now generally what happens is, for example, if you are in college, you are working at the Oracle, somebody else will also be working in the Oracle, and you create something, and your junior or your somebody else will delete that, and you are going to lose your temper, and you are going to delete what they have done. So the end result is nobody is doing anything, because your friend is your junior is deleting what you have done, and what you are doing is you are deleting what your friend has done. So this is going to happen. Okay, this generally happens, and this happens because two or more person are sharing the same thing, and everybody has their own preference. So what you can do is you can create your own workspace. That will be nice, is it not? So you will have your personal workspace. You can do anything with it. You can mess up with it, and others will also have their own workspace, and they can do anything they want. So as long as you are not interfering with them, or they are not interfering with you, things are fine. Okay, so let's create a workspace for us. Okay, so let's create a new workspace for us. So I'm going to give the username for this one. You can give anything. Okay, I'm going to give the new username. You can also create a existing one or new. I'm going to just create a database username BSE. Okay, I will use a shortcut BSE. Username is also BSE. Password is also BSE, and I will confirm the password as BSE. So everything is BSE for me. So database username is BSE, application express username is also BSE, and everything is BSE. So you remember that. Let me click on create workspace, and once you click on this create workspace, it's going to create a workspace for you. It's going to take some time for it to show up that. So once I typed everything, I'm clicking on create workspace. Otherwise it will say that you can do create a blank workspace. So that's all you have done, and I will just close this for the time being, and it's going to show you right at the beginning that successfully created a workspace BSC. Click here to log in. So I'm going to click on this one, click here to log in. It's going to show me the workspace is BSC, username is BSC, password is I have shown you the password. Again, I typed it as BSC. Login, and you are there at it. Okay, simple as that. Okay, that all. It is asking me again and again. Let it save it. Okay, so this is what you have, and this is your personal space. What you can do on this one, you can build the application, or you can do anything over here. Let me go here, and this is what we are going to do here. We are going to learn about SQL. This is one way of doing it. I will show you the other way of doing it. Let me click on SQL here. So it's going to start the SQL, and you can create you can see that something is there, or you can click on SQL command, and this is what it's going to show. So here you can type a command, and then you can execute it. Simple as that. Now this Oracle that you have installed is a relational database system, and we know what is a relational database system because we have studied about different models. In the relational models, you have a relation, and what is a relation? A simple English word for relation is a table. A relation is nothing but a table that contains a number of fields. Okay, and every field has a name like register number, a name, and so on. There is a field name, and there will be records. Simple as that. Okay, this is called as a relation, or generally it is called as a table. Okay, I want to see how many tables are there, if at all in my workspace, I've just created my workspace. I want to see how many tables are there, if at all it is there. Let me go here and let me type this one, and I'm going to say select, okay, star from user table, okay. And if I click on run, this is to execute it. What will happen? You will notice that when I click on run, it will execute the command and the result will be shown over here. Can you see that thing? Okay, so these are all the tables which are there. Emp is there, department is there, some demos are there, so that you can play around with them. Okay, Oracle is giving you some predefined tables and you can play around with them. Okay, so let me see what is there in this emp. You can also see what is there in the department. So I'm going to go over here and I am going to say select star from emp. Now I am actually not doing that. I know this is if you're watching it on mobile, this kind of moment is really irritating. So I'm going to select this one, and I think I'm in the web page now. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say run. Okay, and you will notice that I told you what is a relation. A relation is nothing but a table. And now you will definitely agree with me that this is a table that contains employee number, one field. Let me zoom it for you. Okay, uh, I think I've zoomed it slightly more. So this is one column, this is the other column, this is the next column, and so on and so forth. This is definitely a table. Everybody will agree with that, and that is what you have. So this is one way of working with the Oracle. Okay, and one interesting thing that you are going to notice here is it is going to show you that it is the schema that I have used, and some of you have not watched my video and you know what is this schema. This is the view that I have. So this is at the view schema at that view. So this is my view of the Oracle has a lot of data. This is my view. So that is what is the meaning of it, and that is what is called as a schema. You can anytime log out from here. Now let's see what the things Windows has installed. So if you go here to the start menu and then where did it go, and go and search for Oracle, you notice that it has some option called as start and stop the databases. Let me go and search for the Oracle where it has installed everything for me. So this is the Oracle that you have. You notice it has created a folder for me, and that is that is called as Oracle 11G Express Edition. If you click on it, lot of things are there. This is the getting started that you are using it, and in the your class you are going to use run SQL command line. This is the command line that you can think of using. In your college they have installed the Oracle 9G, and you notice that 9G is not available for you to download. There they have something called as SQL plus, which is not there. Instead of that, now what we have is run SQL command. Now if you click on this one, it's going to start a command prompt wherein you can connect and log in. So I can say connect, okay, BSC, and it's going to ask me for the password. I've typed the password. You are connected to the BSC. By the way, if you can't see it, I'm going to just do this. What did I do is I typed to connect BSC, and I enter it has asked me enter the password. So I enter the password, which will not be shown. like your Unix, and I say I got connected. Now I'm going to say select the same thing, select star from emp. I am not doing this, sorry about that. I don't know what is wrong with that, why it is trying to move here and there. So press enter and you see the same result. Now that result came again. I'm not doing it purposely, so I know that it is very irritating to see this kind of rapid movement on the mobile phones, but bear with me. So this is what it is trying to show. Employee name, can you see there? Employee number, employee name. So these two are same job and so on. It's not coming beautifully, but this one is really beautiful, but that is what you can see it. If you go to the college lab, there is something called as a SQL plus, which is slightly better than this one. Okay, but the command that you are going to type, whether there, here, or anywhere, is the same. So at the end of the day, you have to type the command. So whether you type it in the black and white world or in the color world, they are not going to make any difference to you. Okay, so this is simple things about Oracle. Now there are few things that you must know. For those who don't have enough resources on your machine, it is better you stop the Oracle server. Okay, how do I stop the Oracle server? If you want, you can log out from here. It's up to you. You can log out from here, and then you can log out from there also. But okay, then you go here to the Oracle. Where did that Oracle go? HAJKLMNOP. Okay, the O is here, and I'm going to just say stop the database. Remember, once you stop the the database will stop. Let me do that thing. Okay, you can see here. The database will stop, and tomorrow it will not work. You have to first start the database. So if you stop the database, start it and then start using it. So I'm going to stop this database because otherwise it will slightly take some resources on your system. Okay, suppose like me, who doesn't have a lot of memory on my RAM on my system, I don't want some services to be running at the background, so I'm going to just stop the database. Tomorrow when I want to do some experiment, I'm going to start it and then start doing the experiment. Remember, this is the first thing you have to do it. If at all you are stopping the database, but there is no harm in stopping the database. Let's stop the database. When you stop it, it's going to say that you need to elevate yourself in order to stop the service. Yes, do it. Okay, it's going to stop the service for you. Okay, net stop Oracle service, and it is going to stop that service for you. It's going to show you that it is trying to stop the Oracle service. Okay, it may take some time for Windows to actually stop a running service, and again it may take some time for Windows to start the service. And this is what you see. Oracle service has been stopped. Oracle is stopped altogether. Now if I go here and if I try to log in, what's going to happen? And you notice that you are not able to connect because the Oracle is no longer running. As simple as that. Same thing is true if you try to type the same command again and then try to execute. Okay, you will notice that end of line is reached on the communication and so on. It's going to say that it is not available. Okay, session ID, everything is stopped. It is not in a simple plain English. It just says that it's not available. So that's the end of it. So this is how you install the Oracle on your system. We will meet again in the next class once you have installed Oracle on your machine.